chapter 49. And Jacob called unto his sons and said, Gather yourselves together, that I may tell you that which shall befall you in the last days. So we're going to get a prophecy here. Gather yourselves together and hear, ye sons of Jacob, and hearken unto Israel your father. Reuben, thou art my firstborn, my might, and the beginning of my strength, the excellency of dignity, and the excellency of power. Unstable as water, thou shalt not excel. Because thou wentest up to thy father's bed, then defilest thou it. He went up to my couch. So, he said, you blew it. So, it's not that he's forsaken altogether, but you're not getting what you thought you were getting. Verse 5, Simeon and Levi are brethren, instruments of cruelty in their habitations. Remember what they did?
They killed some people.
The people of Shechem asked them to be circumcised, and then they led the slaughter. Verse 6, O my soul, come not thou into their secret, unto their assembly. Mine honor, be not thou united. For in their anger they slew a man, and in their self-will they digged down a wall. Cursed be their anger, for it was fierce, and in their wrath, for it was cruel. I will divide them in Jacob, and scatter them in Israel. So, let me tell you what happens to each one of them. Well, first of all, Simeon gets a portion in the land, but it doesn't seem like he really keeps it. I think his possession is swallowed up by Judah. And Levi, we're going to see in Exodus, God's going to pick the tribe of Levi to be the Levites, of course. And they're going to be a special people, and they're not going to get an inheritance. They're going to have cities to dwell in, but they're going to serve God. That's their inheritance.
The priests of God.
Well, the some of the Levites will, the descendants of Aaron, but the Levites, in general, they'll just be servants of God. So when he says, I will divide them in Jacob and scatter them in Israel, they're not going to have an inheritance. They're not going to Simeon won't keep his inheritance, will be his problem. All right, verse 8. Judah, thou art he whom thy brethren shall praise. Thy hand shall be in the neck of thine enemies. Thy father's children shall bow down before thee. Judah is a lion's whelp. From the prey, my son, thou art gone up. He stooped down, he couched as a lion, and as an old lion, who shall rouse him up? The scepter shall not depart from Judah, nor a lawgiver from between his feet, until Shiloh come, and unto him shall the gathering of the people be. Binding his foal into the vine, and his ass's colt under the choice vine, he washed his garments in wine, and his clothes in the blood of grapes. His eyes shall be red as wine, and his teeth white as milk. So Judah got quite a few verses there. And essentially what this prophecy is saying is the king, the scepter will not depart from Judah. The king's going to come from Judah. So David will be known as the lion, it's a lion from the tribe of Judah. And Jesus as well. So the first three are passed over for their wrongdoing. And Judah is the next in line. So
doesn't Jesus come from the tribe of Judah?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The first three were passed over, and Judah's getting the major blessing. All right, verse 13. Zebulun shall dwell in the haven of the sea, and he shall be for an haven of ships. His border shall be unto Zidon. Issachar is a strong ass couching down between two burdens. And he saw that rest was good, and the land that it was pleasant, and bowed his shoulder to bear, and became a servant unto tribute. So you have to see later when they go in the land of Canaan how these things play out. Dan shall judge his people as one of the tribes of Israel. Now, let me finish. Dan shall be a serpent by the way, an adder in the path, that biteth the horse heels, so that his rider shall fall backward. I have waited for thy salvation, O Lord. All right, so here's the problem that Dan has. Dan is given an allocation where the Philistines are, and they can't drive out the Philistines, and so they flee up north. And in the time of the judges, they bring idolatry into the land. That's why Dan shall be a serpent in the way. They bring Satan into Israel. Now, they were doing idolatry before Dan does what he does, but Dan makes it official. But it says, Dan shall judge his people. If you go into the book of Revelation and you look at the 144,000 witnesses, none of them come from the tribe of Dan. So Dan isn't a witness to the second coming, but he will get an inheritance in the land and will be a tribe again. All right. Verse 19. Gad, a troop shall overcome him, but he shall overcome at the last. Out of Asher his bread shall be fat, and he shall yield royal dainties. Naphtali is a hind let loose, he giveth goodly words. So all these latter sons aren't getting much said. Joseph is a fruitful bough, even a fruitful bough by a well, whose branches run over the wall. The archers have sorely grieved him, and shot at him, and hated him. But his bow abode in strength, and the arms of his hands were made strong by the hands of the mighty God of Jacob. From thence is the shepherd, the stone of Israel. Even by the God of thy father, who shall help thee, and by the Almighty, who shall bless thee with blessings of heaven above, blessings of the deep that lieth under, blessings of the breast and of the womb. The blessings of thy father have prevailed above the blessings of my progenitors unto the utmost bound of the everlasting hills. They shall be on the head of Joseph, and on the crown of the head of him that was separated from his brethren. And of course, Joseph's going to play out as getting two blessings because he has two sons, and they will each get an inheritance. Levi won't, so one of Joseph's will. Joseph won't, and his other son will. So that's the 12. Verse 27, Benjamin shall raven as a wolf. In the morning he shall devour the prey, and at night he shall divide the spoil. So a lot of these things that are said, you have to wonder, well, just what does all this mean? And you have to see how it plays out in Judges and then into the kingdom that David has, how the tribes take on some of these attributes of the blessing. I guess I won't say it's necessarily a blessing. It's a prophecy. Some of it's good, some of it's bad. All right, verse 28. All these are the 12 tribes of Israel, and this is it that their father spake unto them, and blessed them. Every one according to his blessing he blessed them. And he charged them and said unto them, I am to be gathered unto my people. Bury me with my fathers in the cave that is in the field of Ephron the Hittite, in the cave that is in the field of Machpelah, which is before Mamre, in the land of Canaan, which Abraham bought with the field of Ephron the Hittite for a possession of a burying place. There they buried Abraham and Sarah his wife. There they buried Isaac and Rebekah his wife. And there I buried Leah. The purchase of the field and of the cave that is therein was from the children of Heth. And when Jacob had made an end of commanding his sons, he gathered up his feet into the bed and yielded up the ghost and was gathered unto his people. So it says Leah died back in the land, I guess before they came down. And of course, Rachel died, but she was buried somewhere else. They didn't make it down to where the others were buried. At least I don't think she was buried there. I think it said she was buried in Bethlehem. All right, so that's chapter 49.